shit. The hibernation's over. Long 6 weeks with no UFC has come to an end, and we are back in blood to get back to the cash counter. It's been forever. MMA Gems, your host Moneyline Mike here. We got the other host, Hot Hand. No Mo
We're
today
back,
because
baby.
Mo somehow asleep on the first one. You already know how he rolls. Uh, but you already know why we're here. Give you all the insight, betting angles, and try to get you up to date for this UFC 324 card on Saturday in Vegas. So been a long time. Get back into the swing of things. We got another numbered card next week, and man, we're back. That's all I gotta say.
We
Um,
got another number to card next week, and we'll be officially hosting from my house. So if you belong to the Discord and you are a member of the MMA Gem section, and with all our hosts and members, because we'll be at my house for next week live.
yep. So we'll have a watch party going. But without further ado, let's get back into the fucking motion. Start this day off with Ty Miller making his anticipated debut against Adam Fugitt. We saw Miller in Dana White Contender Series take on and pretty much decimate Jimmy Drago in all facets of the game, stuffing the takedowns, which was the worry in that one. And even though he supposedly hurt himself in the second round of that fight, he put on a boxing master class. And despite not having many pro fights, he's looking pretty sharp in the striking. And you have Adam Fugitt, who I can only really describe as a scrappy character. He's gonna get in there and make it dirty. Um, he's like a bar fight type of guy. He gives me the vibes of like a a Cage Warriors vet or someone along those lines. But I think Ty Miller has a good chance to get a finish here. Minus 440 is a bit wide for your debut, more than I want to pay. But when I look at this fight, Adam Fugitt's just he's in your face making it scrappy, but he's a punching bag in all reality, from how I see it. He might try to get into the clinch work and the grappling, which would be his best opportunity for a path. That's what I said for him against Islam Dulatov, which would have been his path to victory. But we saw how that went, and he got absolutely disintegrated as we thought. But I think this is the bad matchup for him here. I think the boxing from Ty Miller is going to be too strong. But I don't like this line whatsoever. Minus 440. Even the knockouts around minus 130, which is what my prediction is for here. But you take your shots with the knockout minus 130. But it's a debut guy. Fugitt's scrappy. I do think Fugitt's gonna eat a lot of shots, so maybe a striking prop. But I think Ty Miller's second or third round knockout's probably likely. And I'm interested to see how he goes on with his striking and if he gets better in the grappling realm. But for the first fight, I'm taking Ty Miller by knockout as my prediction. How do you feel?
So, yeah, time. Adam Fugitt also is 37, pushing 40. Um, doesn't have the greatest UFC resume, and Miller is coming off Contender Series, but looked great and is a tall, well built guy. Um, and is good at striking and wants to finish fights and wants to push pressure. Um, so overall, I think Ty Miller wins the fight. And, looking from a better perspective, I had to go on to FanDuel. But Ty Miller by KO on FanDuel is minus 110. So I'll probably be taking that as my bet for this fight. Um, but, nothing crazy, half unit to a unit. And I think that he gets Adam first fight on the card, too after the layoff. We all know the probability or the statistical for the first two fights to finish is higher than a lot of the other fights on the card. So I think Ty Miller with the KO is the way to go here. If Fugitt did win, he would grapple Miller against the cage and get him onto the ground. And I don't think necessarily get a sub, but uh, like ground and pound or like work Miller to exhaustion because we don't have a really too much to go off of Miller going like deep, like 3 round type of fights. So that would be the contingency of what may happen. But overall, I think Miller gets it done with his hands.
Hot hand, how do you feel?
Yeah, I mean, I think Ty Miller's hands are very impressive. He has very good boxing, but debut fighter, only 6 professional bouts, and a minus 440 fucking price tag. It's like, do I really want to pay that? And I mean, I could see a method of victory here for Fugitt by just grinding him down and using the wrestling. But I think Ty Miller's hands are going to hold up. I think Ty Miller should win, but I'm just not paying that price at minus 440 for a debut dude with only 6 professional bouts. So prediction, give me Ty Miller by knockout, but I just don't like the price tag on him.
Yeah, we all pretty much agree on the iffy price tag. Another thing I wanted to point out before we move on, I haven't seen any lines for it yet. We'll probably get them tomorrow or our fight day. But uh, speaking of how we thought the path of victory for Fugitt's going to be to grind this one out as a dog, I think it would be safe to say if you wanted to take the Fugit route, or if you don't want to take Fugitt money line, but you're skeptical on how close this bout's going to be, a Fugitt takedown prop. If it's one, I could see it happening, but that's if you're on the Fugit side of it. I'm just giving you an option there rather than taking his money line if you don't like Ty Miller. But we're going Ty Miller here by knockout most likely, and we'll keep on to the next bout. We got Pretty Ricky Turcios taking on Cameron Smotherman. Um, Smotherman coming off that gritty loss to Ricky Simone. He's on 2 fight losing streak. He lost to him and Series City. Uh, Turcios, he's fighting everyone in the book. He's bringing relentless pressure. I believe he tied in the final for the Ultimate Fighter, but former Ultimate Fighter champion. He's a weird character. He's on podcasts and shit like that nowadays. Um, I think that the loser of this fight is more than likely gonna get his walking papers. Uh, Cameron Smotherman's a young guy. He trains with a lot of tough competition. He trains with like Diego Lopez and guys like that. So, um, even though he had his losses, he is training with the best, and he is coming up in his age. Ricky Turcios, we've seen a lot from him already. You know what you're gonna get from Pretty Ricky. He's gonna be in your face, on your fucking on his pressure on his bicycle, trying to get to you. He circles nice, but he's trying to bring the fight to you. He might push you up against the cage. He's decently well rounded. He's not gonna wow you in any aspect, but he's there. Gas tank, it will be there. In the later rounds, he's gonna be pushing the tempo. If this goes all 3 rounds, expect the final bell for him to be still throwing punches. Cameron Smotherman, um, it's shoddy with him. I don't know how to feel about him career wise. He's lost a bunch of times. He's looked really questionable in there. But this is a fight that I'd rather stay away from. But I think I like Cameron Smotherman here. Uh, I think the pressure from Ricky Turcios might be his undoing because Cameron Smotherman does have crisp striking. He's, like I said, training with the best Diego Lopez in that camp. Um, your Volk, obviously, championship camp, so you know that the level of intensity's probably been pumped up for these guys. Give me Cameron Smotherman. Late finish. I could see him getting a finish here. It's not a high confidence pick, just prediction wise. I could see the decision as well. I don't really want to bet minus 190 Smotherman either. Uh, let's see what I have in my notes for play wise. Smotherman round 2 to start. You get minus 130. Decent tag there. Fight to be won by a split decision. I can also see plus 330 there. And then another play I was looking at to go along with both of the split decision and the Cameron Smotherman possibility of a finish. Fight to be won by unanimous decision, no. Minus 115 on DraftKings. Uh, those are my looks there. Not loving this fight betting wise, but might be something to look at live after the pressure from. But Hothead, how do you feel? Hothead, you there? Unk.
Yeah, so Ricky Turcios is going to pressure and try to make it dirty. But one of his biggest uh, things that he does bad and wrong is he leaves his chin up in the air, and when he strikes, he doesn't put his hands up to protect his chin, especially after he throws punches. Cameron Smotherman is somebody that you cannot do that against. Like he will close and he will tee off on you, and it's been shown that Ricky Turcios, turquoise is whatever, has shown to be stunned and uh, be prone to people that have like a good precision shot, and I think. I think Cam Smotherman wins the fight. Uh, I had, looked at some bets and like it's not a like a money like it's not like a good like unit play, but I was just gonna take his money line. I heard you say fight to be won by unanimous decision no is -135.
-110.
Okay, -110. So I'll probably be changing my decision to that because I think Ricky Turquoise, if he survives, would give it enough to make it into a split. Or, you know, there's other options that open up from there. But that probably would be like my main bet, what I'm going to go with, because my secondary bet would be Cameron Smothering, double chance KO or decision, but that's -180. His money line is -190 for the 10 points. You're better off just playing his money line. So I can see Cameron Smothering getting a KO or outstriking Ricky when Ricky does try to initiate the clinch or initiate pressure, getting, two-pieced and then having to reset and try to, rework his game plan. On the other hand, if Ricky Turquoise does win, it would be by submission or decision, which those odds are uh, +185. But like I said, I'm on Cam Smotherman to win the fight. I think he wins by KO or decision, and but those odds aren't playable for a straight one unit play. So I would take a non unanimous decision at -110 because I just think there's too much that could happen for this to be one guy wins straight up.
Hot hand, you alive? May have lost Hot Hand to a phone call. So before we move on, I just wanted to mention maybe one more thing about uh, well, I think I heard Unc talk about it. Ricky Turcios submission could be a possible read. I think that's where he would hunt for in the grappling room because he knows he has an advantage there possibly. That's at -800 on DraftKings. You probably get it better elsewhere. That's a nice little sprinkle play if you're on the Ricky side. Like we said, this is the sketchy bout. Also, Ricky takedown. Whenever that drops, that's where he's gonna be trying to get him against the cage. So we're going Smotherman, but this bout's a little iffy because we got two unreliable characters. But in my opinion, betting on Ricky Turcios to win a fight in 2026 is not something that I want to do. So we're gonna keep moving on. Got Josh Hokit taking on Denzel Freeman. We got two of the newly added heavyweights coming together for this fight here. Josh Hokit coming off a nice knockout win, and Denzel Freeman coming off a very shaky debut and a double debut against Marek Bulo. Um, he went the decision, he got the W, but a lot shakier than a lot of people thought. And he did. He looked nervous out there. Josh Hokit, on the other hand, looks the opposite of nervous, very confident out there. He's looking to be a character. The UFC's trying to market him a bit. And they crash here. I like Denzel Freeman a little bit as a fighter. I thought I like his head kicks, and I guess that's about it. But he has nice head kicks for a heavyweight. Josh Hokit, decently well rounded. You see it as graphic. He played on the 49ers, um, and also was an All American wrestler at at I believe Oklahoma State, might be Fresno State. But All-American wrestler, 1 point. Denzel Freeman, former U.S. military personnel. He has grappling background as well, but I don't think it's gonna be as good at Hokit's. I like Hokit here at minus 225. I think he can find a strike for a knockout or at least a decently dominating 3 round win with his grappling. Uh, I could just see the only way I could see Freeman pulling something out here is using his small reach advantage to stay on the outside and catch Hokit when he's over eager to enter the pocket, and then if he can stuff the takedowns, uh, and use his striking. But he's on the back foot a lot of the time, and he doesn't really take pressure well or take big strikes well. Hokit's gonna be on the gas. He's gonna be looking for a finish to be out there. His whole thing, his whole mantra is stop the boring heavyweights. He's gonna be looking out here to make a statement. I'm gonna take Josh Hokit by knockout. I wouldn't doubt if it went to decision, but I'm liking Hokit in this spot. Uh, Pick wise, Hokit's like minus 225, so it's tough. Hokit knockout though at plus 300, I think holds some decent value. Maybe an under here if I have to go the distance because I think if Hokit lost, I think he can get caught slack and enter in the pocket. But two heavyweights, two guys that you want to make a statement, and we have a decent price tag on the under and fight not to go the distance, so that might be a route to look to. But I'm going Hokit knockout. How about you?
Is Hot Hand available? Because I lost my bet.
Hot hand.
Hokit's gonna win. Hot Hand.
I think he's on the phone probably.
I guess that's what the little emoji means. Um. Okay, so Josh Hokit's gonna win. His wrestling is better than Denzel Freeman, and his overall athletic prowess, considering like he was in the NFL, and in that he's translated it to MMA in like kind of the right way. Because there's a lot of people that transfer sports and they do it the wrong way, but he's actually taking this pretty seriously. Hokit's gonna win the fight, and like Mike said, he was on Dana White Contender Series, like going crazy, screaming about how like all the heavyweights now are lame and they suck and this and that. And he's gonna take them all out. So uh, you know, I had a better bet, but fight to not go the distance is minus 215, which is solid. You can. I'm pretty damn confident on it. I would even maybe put a unit on that because I just can't see these guys lasting. If they do, it would be an anomaly because maybe there would be some wrestling, but I think they would get tired before then. They're going to use a lot of energy trying to get a finish, especially considering how big of a card this is and all that. So the fight to not go the distance is minus 215. Um, and once again, I cannot find what my bet was. I believe it was Hokit to win in round 1 or 2 by
That
KO.
the Hokit round 1 or 2 by knockout is plus 400 on FanDuel.
Yeah, that's what it was. That's what it was. So that's what I want to take. Hokit in the first or second round, plus 400 by knockout. I think that's fabulous value. I think that like that's what we're trending. That's what we're looking at here. But hey, if you want to play a little bit safe, you got the minus 215 for it not to go the distance. If these guys see the judges, it's the anomaly. So you can sprinkle something to do with decision prop, and it should be astronomically high.
All right, keep moving on. I think if the hot hand comes back. Um, we got Michael Johnson taking on Alexander Hernandez. Two scrappy vets taking on here. Michael Johnson busted a lot of tickets with his upset of minus 500 favorite Zell Huber on Dustin Poirier's retirement card. And you have Alex Hernandez, who also busted parlays earlier last year too, with his knockout of Chase Hooper. So got two guys here who have recently been busting slips. and they crashed here. Michael Johnson's coming up on 40. Alexander Hernandez kind of coming into his own at 33, 34 years old. Um, he's been there for a while, but now he's finally starting to kick it into gear. But he's coming off that knockout finish over Diego Ferreira. Uh, but
Oh,
um,
Mike, I don't mean to interrupt you, but real quick, the Josh Hokit by points was plus 310. That was what I was trying to get at. Sorry.
um, so Hernandez, he's a little bit more well-rounded than Michael Johnson. I think Michael Johnson has the speed advantage in the striking, his quick hands, and but I don't like how he's flat-footed. He's not really bringing pressure much. His grappling is going to be under Hernandez's level. Hernandez knows how to get out of. He's not like a great striker, but he's good at managing range, coming in, throwing a nice 1-2, and getting out of there. And he does have power in his hands, as you've seen from his last bout. So I went back and forth in this fight early about it, but I'm gonna end up siding with the favorite, Alexander Hernandez. I think he can implement some of the grappling. I think he might have the stronger strikes. Um, I think Michael Johnson is more precise, and if he can stop something, he can make it a close bout. But I'm gonna have to go Alexander Hernandez for my pick here. The money line's not out of the question at minus 160, but it's like slightly juiced. I think he's gonna win by decision. Hernandez by decision. If you're looking for parlay pieces, round two to start, it's like minus 400 ish. You can tag that with something. Over 1.5 minus 250, and I like the Hernandez plus round two to start at minus 110. That's what I might end up taking here. I think this fight goes a little bit longer. I think they feel each other out early. I don't know if it goes the distance. My prediction's Alexander Hernandez by decision, but I can also see him possibly finishing Michael Johnson. If Michael Johnson's path of decision, probably finding a shot on Hernandez. So I'm gonna go with round two to start and Alexander Hernandez minus 110 is my pick. Uh, but I wouldn't hate Hernandez money line either. Michael Johnson is a dog. There's not a lot of dogs I love on this card, will love or even like. But I think I would not be deadly surprised if I saw Michael Johnson get a win. But I'm siding Hernandez here. How about you, Unc?
Yeah, so a big thing that you said is Michael Johnson, and I know I say this a lot, but that's why I'm Unk. I followed his entire career. He fought, Nate Diaz in 2015, and he fought Gaethje way back when Gaethje came over from not PFL, whatever organization he might have been PFL, whatever he came over from. So I followed Michael Johnson's whole career. I followed his highs and his lows. Um, he used to be known for being a good wrestler, and he just doesn't do it anymore at all. But because his hand speed is so fucking quick, but he doesn't have power. He has like the Conor McGregor precision speed type of power where you get your jaw clicked or your temple clicked right in the right way, and it's so fast that it wobbles you because he never has like a stone cold KO. It's always like a TKO that he jumps on the guy and then hits him a bunch of times. And his fights are normally like him getting out, getting in, trying to throw really fast punches, and getting back out. He does the worst against guys that pressure and guys that want to, hold him and clinch and really make it dirty. And Alexander Hernandez is one of those guys that does that. So overall, I think Alexander Hernandez wins the fight, and it's been a couple fights since Michael Johnson really had someone that like once they, hit him once or twice, they uh followed up and then like continued suit on like attacking him, and that's why he never really gets finished because the people, he like they get him stunned or something, and then they kind of back off. Nobody kind of stays on him. Alexander Hernandez, if he sees him hurt, will stay on his ass. So he'll either sub him or KO him. So Hernandez by KO or sub is plus 225, but Michael Johnson's spread is minus 145. So if this does go to decision, I think it's a split decision because I don't think Alex Hernandez just flawlessly beats Michael Johnson. Like I think Michael Johnson will win a round off, striking ability. But I think that like time has come. Michael Johnson is over 40, and it's he's gonna this is it. Or if he's not over 40, he's very close. I mean, he's
He's
been
39.
20. He's 39. Okay, so he's 40. He's basically 40, and I've seen the regression in his fights. Now he's won his last couple fights, so people think like he's doing really well, but he's barely skimming by. And I mean, it's like lucky 1-2s that are giving the judges like oohs and ahs, and I don't think that's gonna skim him by. But if you think this will be a decision fight, then Michael Johnson plus 3.5 is minus 145. You can put a unit on that, come out and win like 3/4 of a unit, or you can put like a quarter of a unit or a half unit on Hernandez double chance by KO or KO or sub at plus 225, and the calculations come out to where you would profit. So you have two choices there, and do your research and make your selection. But like I said, I'm looking at it here. Um, you can do a unit and a half total between these two plays, and you can come out either way. So
Hot hand, he still out of commission? Right, I'm guessing so. But keep moving on. We have Alex Perez taking on Charles Johnson. Um, Charles Johnson got us a nice victory against Loner Kavanaugh as a dog. And Alex Perez almost cooked some tickets, but ended up blessing up by getting choked out by a Mlmike. That week we cashed a collab parlay, but it's a beauty to see Mlmike come back and get that finish. But Alex Perez looked really solid there. He was grappling up, and I think his striking's still there. But in this one, I think Charles Johnson's reach is going to be a big thing in this, and his ability to grapple. If he's a better striker and the better grappler in this situation, with the reach advantage, with the flow, I can really only see Alex Perez win this fight by like a power overhand, like late in the round when late in the rounds when Charles Johnson starts to get a little fatigue in the third round. I could see like an overhand catching him and hurting him. But that's like the anomaly in this case. I think Charles Johnson has some clear paths here. He can piece Alex Perez up on the feet. I think he can get a finish on Perez on the even on the ground if they go there. I'm more confident in Charles Johnson jiu-jitsu by far over Alex Perez. Um, I like Johnson's spot here on the money line. Perez is still looking solid though. He could make this competitive. And, Charles Johnson gets into decision fights. He gets into weird moments where he almost wants like a split decision. So keep an eye for that. What I have here is um, Charles Johnson and Charles Johnson money line obviously. Johnson in round 2 to start minus 110. Uh, and then as a parlay piece, you can look at Charles Johnson plus 3.5, and I saw that earlier at minus 350. Obviously juice there, but if he loses, I think it'd be a very close decision. Or I don't know, that overhand randomly is like my faint notion, but I like Charles Johnson here. I'm gonna ride with him. I think minus 170 is a pretty realistic price tag, even value on there. How about you, Unc?
Yo, my bad. I had a call.
Oh, there
I'm
you are.
back now, though.
All right,
oh hey, welcome back, bud.
My bad. I had a serious business call, but I'm back.
all right. Before we keep going on this, what do you got for Smotherman Turcios?
Turcios takedown props. I'm looking to ladder it.
All right. Hokit Freeman,
Hokit knockout.
Michael Johnson, Alex Hernandez.
Hernandez, but I already said, could I fade Johnson again? I don't know, but I like Alexander money line.
And then you might as well just take the floor here, and then I'll clean it up.
I think Perez is due. I mean, he had a great showing. He beat the shit out of fucking Asu until he had them in that crazy jump when he jumped the guillotine and had him fucking wheezing. But I think Perez looked very, very sharp in round 1 and round 2 up until that point. I mean, people forget, Perez has been in the game for a long time. I think he's like 32, 33. But Charles Johnson's actually older than Perez. And I think Perez here has a good edge unless if he keeps the fight on the feet. I mean, Johnson's very dangerous. He's very crafty and he has a lot of experience as well as Perez does. But I'm looking at a Perez spread. I think this is going to be a very contested bout, but I could see Perez getting a win here. I think he's due, but I like Perez, but it's definitely a toss-up matchup because they're both dangerous and experienced.
Unc.
Yeah, I like Johnson here. Uh, Perez has shown good things, and yeah, he's been aggressive. But Johnson has underrated striking, who he's shown in the last few fights to have been effective. And another thing that I looked up, and I discovered in tape is, uh, Perez doesn't do well with subs and wrestling exchanges, and Johnson, he has like multiple fights where he's shot at least 6 times. He's hit 1 to 2 of them, and some he hit 0. But the fact is, the guy's out there shooting, so that means he has a high enough fight IQ to realize that he can use his different tools to win in different ways. So, like, if he realizes, hey, this guy, I can wrestle and get him, in a compromising like sub positions that he's not too comfortable in. I think Charles Johnson's going to take advantage of it. So Charles Johnson wins the fight, and his money line, 192 is a good way to go. But I also like the Charles Johnson double chance, the TKO or points minus 105. Oh, I'm sorry. The submission or points minus 120.
Yeah, so we're pretty much on the same page there. Well, actually, hot hands over on Perez, but it's gonna be a contested bout regardless, and we'll keep it pushing. And we'll go over to Nikita Krylov taking on Modestas Bukauskas. Um, Krylov back in the octagon after being decent-sized favorites in his last 2 fights over Dominic Reyes and Bogdan Guskov. Now comes in here against Modestas Bukauskas. This line has shrunk. Modestas was over minus 200 prior. Action comes in on Krylov. Not sure why, but um, for me here, it's just the only way I could see Krylov winning this fight is by a submission. Can't see him knocking Modestas out. Can't see him grind out a decision. I can really only see him trying to muscle up in the beginning, getting Modestas against the cage, getting to the ground, and somehow submitting him. But Modestas has grappling in his own. Um, that's the only way I could see Krylov winning it. So with that being said, Krylov submission only money line minus 160. Um, but I think it's Modestas here. I think I think Krylov has a chin of fucking of glass, and it's been shattered 2 times last year. I believe both of them were last year, but 2 times recently. And Modestas can strike, and we've seen him knock dudes clean out before. He's fought tough competition. Arguably, I think he lost against Ian Cutelaba, but got the win there and had a contested fight with him. And I mean,
Robbery.
and then he fought Paul Craig. Craig did muscle up on him, which is why I even have the slightest of doubts. He came up, put him against the cage, and he ended up pulling guard and then got knocked the fuck out. Krylov could grapple. That's the only way that I could see him winning the fight, but I think Modestas is going to find that chin. Nikita Krylov does not absorb shots well, and Modestas has to know that. And Krylov's going to be shooting low kicks and looking to grapple. That's his path. And I think Modestas could find the shot. I'm taking Modestas Bukauskas by knockout. I like his money line a lot by that price tag. You can play that straight easily. You maybe go for a Krylov takedown prop when they drop, but Modesta's money line, his knockout's my prediction. At Krylov sub only money, Krylov sub only money line. DraftKings minus 160. I don't see Modesta submitting him, and I could see Krylov getting a submission. You can also sprinkle the submission from Nikita Krylov to hedge any of your bets. That's the only way I see him winning. And that's like over plus 500 you're getting that at. So I think there's value on that line. But I think he gets sent to a fucking Juice World concert. That's where I'm going. Hot Hand, how do you feel?
Yeah, I think Bukauskas has the edge here. He's the younger fighter. His chin isn't literal dirt as Krylov's is. But the thing that scares me, as always, when you see these younger dudes come in that haven't really been tested yet against the crafty veterans who fought everybody, is, will the experience come into factor? The Krylov take him down, hold him down, and edge out a decision or even find a submission? But I think this fight is going to be fireworks. I think Bukauskas has a very high probability of knocking him out, and I think it's going to be a slugfest personally. And I think Bukauskas will get the better edge on Krylov, but I rather play it safer because the Krylov submission is very possible, and I think that a under would probably be the best bet here. I mean, of course, you're gonna have to see how to play it. If it's round three, not to start fight, not to go to distance, depending on odds. But I'm definitely looking at it under here, and I do like that Krylov sub only bet you said about Mike. I think that's golden. It hits, it hits. If not, the money's back. So I like that Krylov submission only bet as well.
Unk.
Yeah, so we got our boy Bedestis back, who I got a lot of history with. He was in one of the robberies of the century against Kuntalaba, and oh my god, that was like $1,000 swing for me. So now I'm really familiar with this guy, and we familiar with Nikita Krylov. We've taped him multiple times, watched him multiple times. Uh, but the way that Bedestis generates power from small areas, like yeah, Paul Craig and uh even Kutalava tried to press him against the fence, and they got fucking destroyed. Whether it was knees or elbows, and then uh, he went to the ground with Craig, and that elbow. Oh my god! So that guy is a straight killer, and Nikita Krylov is not somebody. He's not a guy we know, high guard, hands tight defense, taking shots and walking through the storm. And this is not the guy, man. So I got I got Podestis by knockout on FanDuel plus 145 as my bet. And I think he knocks Nikita Krylov fucking clean out. But in the uh, contingency scenario, that plus 550, I will be playing along with everybody else. Krylov submission plus 550 or over 500.
All right. Yeah, we're looking at Modestas here. See if Nikita's chin is still a thing. Um, I fucked up the fucking graphics. All right, we got Melissa Croden, aka Teba Gautier, taking on Andre Pulyaev, and the caption for this is this sanctioned murder. Um, I believe it might be. Uh, I believe it might be. I do like Pulyaev. I had him against Nick Klein in his last fight, and that came beautifully. Uh, but a Teba Gautier in his last fight against that Tristan Vines, who was on short notice, so we can give him the benefit of the doubt. He grabbed this dude in the clinch and tossed him to the ground, and then absolutely knocked him the fuck out. And he's Teba Gautier is well rounded too. He's not one of your typical guys coming from Africa, not training with
He
top
looks
guys.
he looks like Ngannou at 185 pounds.
He is well versed, and I can see him being a force in this division. I do like Pulyaev as well. I did say that in the last fight. I do think he's talented. But we've seen him hurt before. We've seen him done in before. And like, what Pulyaev's only like chance really here is to start clinching. Like, if Pulyaev starts trying to clinch against the cage, but we saw Gautier get clinched and then do some matrix shit in his last fight and get a finish. Um, the lines are super juiced here. Gautier, knockout. It's probably like minus 500. You're getting the weird lines here. I did see um I do like this a lot. A Gautier knockout rounds 1 or 2 is minus 260 as a parlay piece on FanDuel. So that's a realistic ass line for a round 1 and 2 knockout for Gautier because he's probably gonna get a knockout here. You throw that with another minus 200 play that we've set a million already, and you're at plus money right there. I like that play a lot. That's actually even my submission for the lab. I think he takes Pulyaev out of the stratosphere and fairly early too. I think like I don't even want to fuck around with the over half rounds. Like I don't want to fuck around with that. He's gonna end up doing Pulyaev bad. Um, there's one alternate reality where Pulyaev rakes him with a fucking head kick and knocks him clean out cold and is the dog of the week. But like you can cover that, I guess, fairly easily. Minimal units. I'm gonna go with a Gautier by sanctioned murder round 1. Unk, how do you have it?
I'm I mean, for straight plays, I don't have anything, but like my parlay piece is Gautier to win in round 1 or 2 minus 300. And there's nothing more that needs to be said. He
Uh,
looks like 100 he looks like 185 pound. Wait, what were you going to say?
no, I was gonna ask hot hand, but you keep.
Oh, he looks like 185 pound Francis Ngannou. His strength is unrealistic, and like even with people that do know how to wrestle, like he has enough defensive wrestling and enough physical strength that he can just toss people out of it. And then once they get hit with the fist, I mean that's it. It's lights out. So round 1 or 2 finish like minus 300 for like a parlay piece.
Hot hand.
Yeah, too much don't gotta be said. Gautier, he's a dog. He's an animal. Fucking Andrei Pulyaev, he's a talented Russian, but I mean, when you're fighting Gautier, there's just not much you could do. So give me Gautier here. I think he's gonna knock him out early. I think he's gonna make it look easy.
Yeah, we'll keep this one moving. We got Biggie versus Umar Nurmagomedov in our featured prelim. The former champ comes in here at over 8-1 with something that I had not seen. Uh, Biggie was a big dog against Montel Jackson, ended up winning that bout. I mean, I have Umar at minus 1450. That's just that's on the light end of the spectrum of some of the lines I've seen. I've seen minus 1600, a lot of them, but there are some decent lines when you're looking at other shit. I do think Umar gets the W here. I think he's just gonna have too much for Figgy in the wrestling, and he's obviously a talented striker as well. Umar's bigger than him. Uh, I'm just looking at how Umar's gonna win. It hurts. I think that Umar can get a finish here and get a submission. I really think he can when he's grappling with Figgy, get a nice finish on the former champ. But it's tough riding with Umar to get finishes here. Like the way he be just coasting and like not caring about getting the finish, like just doing the normal ass boring shit, which is dominating. But when you're trying to pick a method of victory, it's kind of pain in the ass to take someone for a finish when you know he's just gonna grip Figgy up and possibly not even try going for a sub and just win 30-27. So I was looking at Umar's submission for prediction wise, but like I just said, he could coast. Sub points is minus 550. That's on the super juice scale, but throw that in a three legger. I think that's a casher. And then I looked at Umar minus 7.5, minus 160. I think he can get 30-27 or get a finish here. So that's pretty much all you can really fuck around with here if you're unless you're taking some shots with longer odds. But that's pretty much all I'm rocking with. Hot hand, how do you feel for this one?
Yeah, I like Umar a lot. I mean, Figgy, I liked him a lot. He's a very successful fighter, but I think he's hitting that stage of his career where he's getting older. He blew out the knee like a year or two ago against Sandhagen, and the body's starting to crumble on him. And I think Umar is just going to be way too fast, and I think it's going to be a very easily identifiable speed advantage for Umar here. I think he's just going to do too much on the feet. I think he could work in the wrestling if he wants, and I don't think Figgy's going to have an answer, especially at the age he's at and where he's at in his career. So give me Umar. I just don't like the price tag. I mean, hey, if you have big nuts, put 1,400 on him, get a free $100 because I don't see any way how Figgy is going to beat Umar. But like I said, give me Umar. I just don't like the odds behind them.
Hot hand or Unk.
Yeah, so Figgy used to be one of the best jiu-jitsu guys on the mat. He had to get a knee surgery after the Corey Sandhagen fight because he got his knee popped. But he came back against, I believe it was Mark Madsen, and looked great. Won a decision, and
Montel Jackson.
Montel Jackson, and maybe didn't look great, but looked good enough. And I believe this is going to be a lot to do with Umar applying top pressure and not necessarily hunting for subs. Um, but my main play of what I'm going with here is in the MMA gem section. So if you want to join and check that out, it's part of. Or wait, did we release our collab at the end?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So Amar Megoff over 1.5 rounds, minus 240. I think is a good solid bet, good solid parlay piece. And then if you're looking for some stuff like strictly like one unit plays or like how you want to get creative, Umar by decision is minus 135. But then if you go to the DraftKings section and click like winning round one, winning round, it's plus 300. Round two, winning round, is plus 475. I'll be taking a sprinkle on those two rounds just in case he does come through. But my main, parlay piece is Umar and over 1.5 round, and then you factor in the three ways of doing him by decision minus 135, or he gets the finish in round one or round two. I really don't think there's any chance of him getting the late sub or finish in round three. I mean, if it's gonna happen, it's gonna happen in round one or two. Because Figgy's gas tank isn't a question, so it's just going to be more wrestling, more top pressure throughout the third round.
Keep it moving. And before we get to the main card, um, our usual spill. Join the Fade Factory. Over 900 members now. Uh, cooking up in all sports. We have baseball coming up on the horizon. College hoops getting to peak season. College lacrosse coming up, and obviously the UFC's back, and we have a bunch of other sports cooking up. And links under in the description. It's free to join. And then if you want that extra edge, in the UFC realm with our selected snipes, cheat sheets, and the live fight companion, that's $10 a month, 25 for three, and cheaper than McDonald's right there for like a 10 piece is more than that. And then on the other side we have a Fade Plus, which for every other sport in my model. So as we said before in 2025, I hope you took our advice. But in 2026, we're saying it again: get right or get left. And let's just start off with Gene Silva taking on Arnold Allen. Um, Gene Silva coming off that disappointing loss against Diego Lopez, getting cleaned out and his forehead split open. And he's coming on against a strong Arnold Allen, who we've seen against solid competition. We've seen him beat Giga Chikadze in the past. Uh, Now he's getting a tough fight here against Gene Silva. I think Gene Silva gets back on track here with a victory. just to cut it short. Um, I think that the way these guys fight, they're gonna clash. They're gonna be stepping outside, clashing, and then gonna be a repeat of that. And both of these guys can fucking throw. So grappling gets brought into it. I know both of them are capable grapplers. I think on the feet though, when they are separated, and they're gonna 1-2 and then clash and throw these bombs. I think anyone can get finished. I think Gene Silva's gonna be throwing haymakers. Arnold Allen's gonna be throwing. Gene Silva's gonna want to put on a scene and get back on track without. He's not gonna want to get a fucking decision win. He was gonna want to get his aura back, barking this dude's face. But if you don't want to pick a side, because Gene Silva is a bit juiced at minus 250 against someone as good as Arnold Allen, and that's on the low end. He's up above minus 300 on a lot of books. I'm looking at fight doesn't go the distance at minus 108. Um, I think these guys clashing. I only really see it going further if there's grappling exchanges. Um, you can easily take down props to try to mitigate that as a hedge. But I'm liking fight doesn't go the distance. I think one of these guys is going to sleep. My prediction is going to be Gene Silva by knockout. But I like Arnold Allen as well. He's a solid guy, but I think Gene Silva, the fucking Jew, gets back on track. How about you, Hunk?
Let me run next because I'm taking fight to not go the distance. DraftKings is minus 125. So what are you using, Mike? It's
Vandal.
minus 108.
Vandal.
So FanDuel not to go the distance is minus 108. That's what I'll be taking for this fight. I just think that there's going to be too much going on here. Like Gene Silva, the fact that he lost and lost Diego Lopez, and he's part of the Fighting Nerds, and like that guy is a very prideful guy. Like if you watch his like interviews and stuff, like he's actually like psychotic. So the fact that he lost is going to eat at him. He's going to be doing way too much. So he's either going to be doing way too much and he's going to fuck Arnold Allen up, or he's going to be doing way too much and that's going to play against him. And Arnold Allen is a very methodological fighter who can, get it done on the ground, but Gene Silva does has a crazy BJJ pedigree. Um, but he can get it done on the feet as well, especially someone that's crashing in and Arnold Allen, someone that knows how to pick counter shots. So this has not to go the distance written all over at minus 125. But then I will be also playing the fight to be win by split decision at plus 450. Like I said, there's just way too much to be going on here to say that either one of these guys unanimously wins this fight. So those are my two bets and predictions for the fight. Who wins? I think Gene Silva's chaos overwhelms Arnold Allen, but that is a very straw thin prediction.
Hot hand.
Yeah, I like Gene a lot here. I think this is a good bounce back spot for him. And if you rewatch that fight with Lopez, I mean, he was putting work in on Lopez until he got overconfident, over aggressive, and walked into that elbow. But up until that point, he looked very very sharp. I think he's like Unk said, that he's a very very prideful person. I think he's going to learn from his mistakes. I don't think he's going to come out like a bat of hell. I think he's going to be patient. I think he's going to wait because Arnold Allen likes to lunge into his strikes. I think Silva is going to catch him entering into one of his lunge strikes. I do think Silva's a little juiced, but I do think Silva cleans Arnold Allen. I think he knocks him out. I think Silva is going to be a great bounce back spot. I think Silva's better on the feet and on the ground, so I think he could sub him or even knock him out. But I do like Gene Silva a lot in this spot, and I think he finishes Arnold Allen.
All right, we'll keep this one pushing, and we got Thug Rose Namajunas taking on Natalia Silva. Thug Rose, it's tough seeing her as a plus 320 dog here after Natalia Silva had a flawless victory over Alexa Grasso. I just want to point out, despite Alexa Grasso's success in the UFC, I think she's a fucking can, and I think she has terrible fight IQ. So, with that being said, this bitch could have closed the distance on Natalia Silva so many times in their fight against the cage and got takedowns, and she just didn't give a fuck and froze. Rose Namajunas does not do that. She don't freeze in the middle and just let shit happen. She will commit on takedowns if she has fight IQ. She's not gonna sit here and be like, yo, let me just kickbox the whole time with this fucking Taekwondo demon who's throwing wicked 360 head kicks and shit. No, we're gonna clinch up. She's gonna be, I think, slightly bigger than Silva, but they're like around the same size. I gotta see the face-offs, but I think Rose can clinch up in this fight. Looking at Rose takedown, possibly. I haven't seen lines for it yet. They're slacking on takedown lines. Um, but I like Rose's spread. I like I think Natalia Silva does have really good movement, and she's gonna be able to come in and out, and she's gonna be able to throw a lot of volume, which is why I don't want to commit on a Rose money line. But I think plus 320 is ridiculous pricing. Natalia Silva at upwards of minus 400 is a bit. I don't know how to. I don't know how they're factoring that in. I do like her, but we're talking Doug Rose, who has beaten Wei Li twice, who has fought in very solid competition. So I like Rose plus 3.5 at minus 110. I like to look at Rose takedown props when they drop later on today or tomorrow. Um, well, let's see what else I have on my list. Yeah, Rose plus 7.5. Pretty much where we're at. But yeah, I don't really see anything else that really intrigues me. Natalia Silva by decision is probably the popular play, but even then, I'm not paying minus money to even money. Thug Rose has super fight IQ, and I think she can win a round on this. Plus 7.5, like minus 230. Play a parlay piece right there that I like. So that up to the plus 3.5 I could take, and Rose take down. But how do you feel?
Um, so this is like really hard to call because, is this the final fall off of Rose? And has Natalie Silva done enough for us to say that she is, the one that is going to, progress in this fight? I'm a big Alexa Grasso fan, so I do want to agree with the first thing that you said, that she used zero clinch control, could have won the fight actually against Natalia Silva, but she didn't. So Natalia Silva's in this spot now. Rose's IQ is higher, so does she recognize that, and does she try to employ her BJJ in grappling? Because Rose is a decent grappler, but it comes down to, like, is this just her time where, it's time to be done. She had a unanimous decision over Miranda Maverick, lost to Aaron Blanfield, beat Tracy Cortez, who, I mean, Tracy Cortez honestly is not that great. Beat Amanda Ribas, then has, three decisions. I mean, I don't know. Her record's all over the place. Rose's head is all over the place. Who do I think is going to win the fight? I don't know. I'm going to have to secede and not take a pick in who wins the fight. Um, but what I'm going to do for um my my pick and what my bet is going to be is one of those, the fight to be won by split decision or the fight to be won by unanimous decision. I'm trying to find, fight to be won by split decision is plus 275. Fight to be won by unanimous decision is minus 175. So as long as there's no finish, you can pick either one of those and, still kind of make it work. But, like, I don't know who wins the fight, and I don't know who to pick who wins the fight. Now, everything in my gut tells me Natalie Silva is the younger dog, well, the younger fighter, and with the momentum, should win this, but like I just don't know if this is the end for Rose, and she can easily, like, if she comes in locked in, like no distractions, because she has a very public, like, I wasn't mentally ready and I had things going on, and it's like, every time she loses, it's like, is she gonna come out and just say, well, I didn't fight well, or well, I had 10 things going on and it messed with my head and I didn't perform. So those are my questions and concerns, and I'm gonna, take those bets, the split decision and the unanimous decision, and just try to make it work. But as far as a winner, I'm gonna blank here. I'm gonna say I don't know.
All right, hot hand.
Yeah, I think I think Silva is gonna win. I think she whoops Rose. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, Rose is very good, but I just think Silva on the feet is going to be unmatched. And unless Rose does something in the clinch or is worlds better than her in the clinch and with the grappling and is going to be able to get her down easily, I think Silva's going to walk all over her. And even if Rose does get her down, people forget Silva still has 7 submissions on her resume. I don't believe, yeah, none in the UFC, but she still has the submission threat. And if she's piecing her up, if Rose shoots carelessly, she could shoot right into a guillotine, or she could, want to get the fight to the ground so much that she doesn't, try and get out of the subs or see a submission coming. So I think Silva here is a easy bet for me personally. I don't like the odds on her though, and especially in a women's MMA fight against a veteran like Rose. But I do think Silva should beat the shit out of her on the feet. I think she's going to be a lot quicker, and as long as she could avoid getting taken down, I think she's going to easily walk to a 30-27 victory here.
Right. We're gonna move to the next bout. We got Waldo Cortez
Whoa,
Acosta.
strong words, Mr. 3027.
Waldo Cortez Acosta taking on Derek Lewis. Uh, Derek Lewis coming off that upset win where we sniped him against Taliesin Teixeira. He had abs. I'm curious to see his
Or
shape for
sniped
this
him.
one. So curious
I don't-
to see the weigh-ins here. Yeah, Derek Lewis is looking. If he has abs again, it's gonna be tough to get a bet against him. But overall in this fight, I think that Waldo's
He hit that
movement
shit with a 50 cal. All right, I'm done.
Waldo's movement and his jabs and his boxing, I think, can pay dividends here against Derek Lewis, who's a bit more wild with his striking, a bit more out there looking to land that huge punch. Waldo does have a chin. Waldo does he has taken some shots in his career, and he doesn't seem to like the shots, but he does have that Dominican chin, and he's been on a run and he's finding his strike. And I think Derek Lewis, I'm not gonna say he got lucky against Taliesin Teixeira because he fucking devoured him, but like he kind of lured him in with like the acting like he was hurt with the eye shit, and then he just kind of caught him and then whooped his ass from there. I don't know if Waller's gonna be fine like doing all that. Waller's gonna be on the outside picking him up with a jab, picking him off with a jab, and Derek was gonna have to throw those wild raging overhands, and I could see him landing one. It's fucking Derek Lewis, but I think Wall is gonna hurt him with the jab and the shots up the middle, and I get a finish over Derek Lewis. But I want to see Derek Lewis at weigh-ins before I say anything. If Derek Lewis is looking in phenomenal shape, it's always tough, especially at minus 300 for Waldo. Don't think there's value on that. I think he gets the victory by knockout, but odds wise, it's on Derek Lewis. I want to see him at weigh-ins though. Unders, I like round three not to start minus 150. The more I watch tape, the more I could see it possibly going to a Waldo decision type ass whooping. But I don't think that Derek Lewis in any state, no matter what, I don't think he's lasting this long. I think he's coming in here to get a finish or get finished. So round three not to start minus 150. Under 2.5 rounds minus 200. Fight not to go the distance, a bit more juice. You get what I'm trying to say here. Uh, um, take over.
Yeah, so we sniped the hell out of that Derek Lewis with abs last time play, because we were going into that with the other guy, Tulvison, thinking he was going to win. And Derek Lewis showed up on scale with abs looking crazy. you had to be part of the Discord if you were part of the MMA Gym, because we gave this podcast saying one thing, and then he showed up on the weigh-ins the next day, and then showed up, the members showed up the day of, and we told everybody, hey, blank your bets and bet him for KO. And everybody took home like plus 400, like crazy amounts, and won a lot. So a lot of factors are going into this. Is Derek Lewis in shape? Okay, so me personally, Derek Lewis by KO is plus 380. Waldo's Cortez by KO is minus 115. You can bet a unit on Waldo Cortez, and you can bet a quarter of a unit and still, make out or at least break even if you do a quarter unit on Derek and a unit on Waldo. But you apply that to your numbers. Like, how much do you want to spend on this fight? But right there, if you want to take either fighter by knockout is a winning formula. The fight to win by knockout overall is minus 275. Throw that in one of your parlay pieces. And then overall, like, if there is that it does, somehow end up, to decision, the fight to go the distance is, plus 200. You can go to, the fight to go to decision is plus 200, like I said. Or, you can throw pennies at fight to be won by split is plus 900, or fight to be won by unanimous is plus 275. So if you want to backdoor your KO bets, they're all plus money options for decisions. And um, like I said, apply it to your units and how much money you spend. But there's a way that you can bet your fighters to win by KO and also work the decision props in there where you at least break even. Um, or if not, take minimal returns, if not big, depending on if you get it right. So, but hey, who do I think wins the fight? Um, I think Derek Lewis either wins by KO or Waldo jabs him to death for a decision. But there's also that, is Derek Lewis out of shape, and does he go for broke and eventually get tired and get like TKO'd, and your Waldo by knockout TKO bet clears. So there's all your path to victories. There's everything that could possibly happen, and there's what I think is gonna go on there. Um, Ultimately, I'm gonna ride with Derek Lewis because Waldo does have a chin, but once he does get cracked, how much does he want to engage then? A lot of his career was made off decisions and playing decision or playing distance. And a lot of fighters play distance more once they do take really hard shots. Once he takes those really hard shots from Lewis, even if he doesn't go out, how much more does he want to engage? So give me my boy Derek Lewis, unless the scales tell us a different story tomorrow.
Hot hand.
You may call me a sped now. You may call me autistic, but book it. Waldo Cortez Acosta by decision plus 280. He's not going to want to sit there and throw fucking strike for strike with Derek Lewis. Derek Lewis is on a 2 knockout win streak. So, it's the Derek Lewis we know. He's shown himself the past 2 fights, and now he's going to go back. He's the older fighter. I think this is where Cortez Acosta is going to finish him. Or not finish him, but I think he's going to beat him, get Lewis back on the track we know. He shows a knockout one fight, then he gets beat up the next, and he knocks someone out. But I think Cortez Acosta is just a way, way more technical fighter, way more skilled. I don't think he's going to sit there and throw. And for a knockout or for a heavyweight, he has 16 wins and only 8 knockouts. So he's not going out there and beating the shit out of everyone. He's fought in the power punchers of Sergey Pavlovich Jerpopovich, whatever his name is. He's fought in the power punchers before, and it's gone the distance. I like over in this fight, or you could take the Acosta decision at plus 280. But either way, I'm gonna go out on my own. I feel that this is an overplay here. I don't think someone's gonna get slept.
All right, we'll keep this one moving, and we go
Hey,
to
you
co-main.
suck. Fuck you.
We go to the co-main event. We have Song Yadong taking on Sean O'Malley. Sean seems like he has the recipe for somehow getting back to the chip after his losses to Marab. Um, now that Jan has the belt, and he beat Jan in a robbery, so now he's taking on Song Yadong. Song Yadong does have the grappling advantage. He does have some big power here, but I think Sean O'Malley, just with the movement, with how flat Jan is or Yadong is, I think O'Malley is gonna and his plot armor. Like, he's gonna have to get beat up bad to really lose this fight. He's either gonna have to get finished by Song Yadong, which I don't see, or he's gonna have to get actually undeniably 30-27. I think if it's a close split decision type of fight, automatically going to Sean O'Malley. UFC does not. The fuck are they gonna market Song Yadong? At least with Sean O'Malley, you have a clear cut. Jan said he wants to rematch with Sean O'Malley. O'Malley said he wants to rematch with Jan. That would sell. It'd be I don't know. I think it's just clear cut. I think there's a lot of plot going into this. I do like O'Malley stylistically as well, if he can stop takedowns. Yadong's takedown line at over 1.5 is eh. I don't know if I like it. I don't know if I love it. Obviously, O'Malley's went through how many trying to take down drills and trying to get right from Rob in the past. So he's a better grappler overall, but I'm gonna take O'Malley here, but via plot armor, via decision. I'll take him. That's my pick. I'll make it quick. What do you got?
I just got O'Malley money line. I'm not gonna play around any props. I'm not gonna, fuck around. Whatever O'Malley's double chance for his striking or his KO or decision, it would probably be good, but it's probably higher than what his money line is. If it's not, I'll play that. I guess I should have looked that up. Hold on, I'll do it real quick. But O'Malley's just gonna do a masterclass. Oh, it's actually lower. O'Malley's TKO or decision is minus 190. So I'm gonna go with the no, 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 no. That's only a 15-point difference. I'm gonna stay with O'Malley's money line. He should do a striking masterclass on Yadon, and like you said, Mike, Sean O'Malley would really have to get his ass beat up and down in order to lose this fight. And the marketability factor and the whole thing with the UFC, how they push their fighters and all that. Um, I the only way I see Song winning this fight, because O'Malley has really underrated jiu-jitsu, is if Song knocked O'Malley cold out, and I just don't see it. So because O'Malley is just so much better than him in striking and movement. Um, so yeah, give me Sean O'Malley's money line, and that's what I got.
Before Hot Hand goes, I did actually. I sprinkled a very small amount on Song Yadong submission plus 2,200. I think those odds are kind of ridiculous. Plus 2,200,
That's worth two
yeah,
dollars.
that's worth a little sprinkle. But Hot Hand, take it away.
It's 2026. If you're still fading Sean O'Malley, I don't know what you're doing. I believe, I don't know which one it was, Mike or Ong said, Song Ding Dong is not profitable in the UFC, or not marketable, excuse
That was
me.
me. Yeah.
O'Malley, yeah, O'Malley is the one the UFC wants to win. Hence why they just gave him this matchup. He's a striker. They gave him a boxer matchup. Song is good, but he isn't like that. He isn't on the level. Now, I don't think O'Malley's the best, but like I said, you got to either knock him out or beat him 30-27 for the judges to give it to you. So give me O'Malley. I'm very, very confident in O'Malley here. I think he cruises to a decision, but I think Sugar is going to be an easy win here.
All right, we'll go to the main event. Justin Gaethje taking on Patty the Batty Pimblett for the vacant 155, or it's an interim or vacant. I don't know what the fuck it is at this point. but
Interim.
yeah, it's for a belt. Um, and it's crazy to say that Paddy Baddy here is fighting for a belt removed from fighting Michael Chandler, uh, and like Tony Ferguson before that. So I don't really know what we're doing here. Justin Gaethje, though, off of impressive win over Rafael Fiziev. That's an actual win. Like Rafael Fiziev is a fucking animal. Um, uh, but here what I look at is after some tape, I am a little bit less, slightly less confident on Paddy. Um, Before I was saying Paddy by anything he wants. I still think it's somewhat like that, but I think the size is bad. I think Gage is gonna be ripping leg kicks. I think Paddy might be a little scared. Offensive grappling wise, like shooting for takedowns and shit. I don't know if Paddy's gonna be able to effortless. I know he's better than down there in the jiu-jitsu realm. Gaethje was a wrestler before. Gaethje has good takedown defense. Paddy Pimblett's takedown line is 2.5 takedowns. The under is like minus 170. Uh, I don't really like that number on it, but it just goes to show like they think he's gonna be able to get takedowns, and I think his jiu-jitsu is a lot better, but Justin Gage is gonna be hitting harder, 100%, throwing harder. That's a fact in kicks and punches. Paddy has been dropped by dudes in fucking Cage Warriors before and hurt bad. Uh, I think Paddy starts feeling some of the pain from the strikes from Gage and then tries to get to the mat and finish with a submission. But I don't think Paddy Pimblett's going to knock out Justin Gaethje. I really don't think he's getting that there. I don't. I think that if he gets him to the ground, I don't think he's going to go for the ground and pound. I think Gaethje's good enough to get away from ground and pound. So I think that Paddy gets a submission here. Um, I was looking at Justin Gaethje knockout only money line at Pick'em minus 115 odds as maybe a potential, but I think that Gaethje has a little bit more value than I originally thought. I don't like minus 230 on Paddy Plim, but I rate this more like a minus 150 fight. But Gaethje getting up there, supposedly staff or something like that, so that's a whole different ball game that you have to contribute to this pick. But you never know with the rumors. Um, Give me Paddy Pimblett by submission, but I think he's gonna go through some adversity first. I don't think it's gonna be in the first round. I think we can see a second, third round possibly here. Maybe not third, but second round for sure. I do want to take a look at when they open it up. I know it's on select books. Justin Gagey 1+ knockdown. I think that'll be in the plus numbers, and we know Patty goes out there and has reckless abandon. I can see him easily getting dropped and not like knocked out, but dropped for sure from Justin Gagey. So, um, those are my reads for that. Hot hand, how do you feel?
Yeah, I got to dip quick, so I'll give this pick and then I got to run. But yeah, give me Patty. It's the same as the Sugar fight. They're both getting handed their UFC careers, and I feel that they're way more marketable. I think Patty. I mean, I don't think. I mean, I know he does not deserve this fight for the interim belt. But I think the downfall of Gaethje here is going to be the low kicks, even though it's very well for him. It's as a wrestler or a BJJ guy, it's the easiest to shoot when he's already throwing the leg at you. He's practically giving it to you if you could time it. So give me Patty. I think he may struggle getting him down with like Mike said, Gaethje's good wrestling defense. But I think once he gets him down, that's where it's going to show that there's levels to it. And I think Patty's going to wrap it up with a sub. So give me, I do like an under here where I do like Patty sub only. The odds are probably going to be whack on that because it's Patty, but I do like an under for here in this scenario for sure. But I do think the UFC is going to want Patty to win. So give me Patty. I think this sets up a fight between Ilya and Patty come June for the White House card. They already had beef. It's the interim holder against the 155 lightweight holder. You know, you fight for the strap. They have beef. It's great marketing. Put it at the White House. So give me Patty here.
All right. And then you're heading out, so I'll see you later. And then
All right, yo, peace out.
Unc.
See you, bud. All right, yeah. So, man, how how times have come to this? Justin Gaethje fighting Paddy Pimblett for the main event. Um, yeah. So Justin Gaethje, I remember watching the Fiziev fight. He barely won that. That was out of straight grit and determination, he was able to outslug his way, but that he definitely didn't out technical his way. Well, then the second time they fought, he got a knockout, but the first time, and yeah, Patty Pimblett's really been on the rise, man. The way that he gets his body down to 155 and the way that it looks is absolutely ridiculous. So we already know he's going to come in flawless shape, and he's way better at jiu-jitsu and Judson Gaethje. And I mean, like, everyone's always talked about Gaethje's wrestling pedigree, but like even in defensive wrestling, we've never really seen it. So I think Patty is, very live for a finish here, whether, it's a KO, a TKO, or a sub. So, um, you know, Patty Pimblett by KO or sub minus 145. Give me that as my bet. And as always, the contingency would be Justin Gaethje to win by KO plus 400. But that's what I'm leaning with. I think Patty Pimblett gets the finish and walks out of there as the new champion. No, there's no way I see these guys going 5 rounds. Like, even with exhaustion and, just everything, they, I don't, I can't see them reaching the judges. So
Yeah.
does Gaethje knock him out at plus 400, or does Pimblett get the KO or sub at minus 145?
Yeah, so pretty much wrapped the card. Before we move on to the collab, um, we have our featured pick, usually a member from MMA Gems, the premium channel, and one of our main members have the floor this week. Mike 2 Raw, and his pick for the featured pick is something that Unk just touched on. It's gonna be the Patty Pimblett knockout, submission or by finish double chance. That's his pick for the featured pick. He has a pretty good record, so.
Oh wow, I good job, Mike.
And then move over to the collab. We have four legs. Um, DraftKings, it's plus 304. It's like plus 270 something on FanDuel because you gotta take it a little differently. On DraftKings, you gotta take it in the same game parlay with an under and then knockout for a Teba. But we have a Teba, Gene Silva, Umar, and Alexander Hernandez at plus 300. I think these are solid guys. And let's get back on track. And then before we head out, I have one more that wanted to add. I collab with AJMMA, popular Instagram guy. Wanted to put this out there. Bankroll builder, me and him, Gene Silva, Sean O'Malley, plus money right there, plus 106, the two-legger. And as usual, thank you guys for sticking around, and for always tuning in. And we're
We're
fucking
back.
back. We're back. We're fucking back in blood.
We're
And
back.
get ready to get your pockets filled up. Get ready to get left 2026. And I'll see you at the cash counter.